This is Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate, the podcast where we cover home buying, home selling, home improvement tips and ideas, market trends and developments, and investing in real estate. If you own real estate in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, or want to own real estate here, then you're in the right place. Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate is hosted by Blake Watson, a real estate agent and investor in Tennessee and Georgia.
Welcome to Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate. I'm Blake Watson, your host, and I am a licensed realtor brokered by Epic Realty. Today on our show, I have a special guest, friend of mine, Darik Dawes. He is the CEO of Dawes Hospitality Group, and it's great to have you today, Darik. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad we could get together and talk tourism.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about tourism today and really how that relates to real estate in Chattanooga and being a homeowner and buying houses, selling houses, all of that stuff. Just get us started with just an understanding of Dawes Hospitality Group and then how you fit into this industry, the tourism industry.
So Dawes Hospitality Group is family owned. We started back in 2004 with our first hotel, so 20 years ago. At this point, we have 5 hotels and 2 restaurants. In the Hamilton County area, we actually have 2 hotels and 2 restaurants. So we have Buddy's Barbecue in Hickson and East Ridge.
I enjoy Buddy's Barbecue.
It's good. It's good. We cook everything on site.
I love it.
So we've got a big old pit out back, and everything's fresh, except French fries and corn. That's what we tell people. So it's everything else is fresh.
Everything else.
And then so over at Hamilton Place Mall, we own the Mainstay Suites. That was our very first hotel. We still have it. And then up in Oodlewall, the Spring Hill Suites by Marriott up there off the exit there.
Now, you mentioned the 2 Buddy's Barbecue restaurants, obviously, but there's a restaurant in your hotel too, right?
There is. Yes. So we have a restaurant inside the Marriott, and we do dinner, I think, starting at 5 o'clock there. Great bar area. It's open to the public too, so anybody that wants to come in, you don't have to be staying at the hotel to come up there and enjoy.
Let's talk about the tourism and hospitality industry in Chattanooga.
Well,
we all know it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and I would say that Chattanooga tourism right now is strong, and it's growing. If you look at Oodlewall, just the whole blow up there, and I think there's some more hotels that are planning to be coming up in that market. You look at Hamilton Place, there's 2 large hotels that just opened up there on that exit. You look at downtown, there's hotels under construction everywhere.
Yeah.
Even Tiftonia. And so you look at the whole Hamilton County market, and all the attractions have done phenomenally well this year. Tourism is in the DNA of Chattanooga, and it's been in our DNA for over 120 years. And
I guess so, with Rock City and
Ruby Falls, the
sure.
aquarium, the Incline Railway.
Yeah, that has been around a long
Discovery
time.
Museum. So there's a lot of attractions that we have.
We've been the scenic city a long time.
That's right.
We? Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Wow.
But, our philosophy is, tell more people about Chattanooga so more people will come. We want people to come to Chattanooga. And I am currently the vice chairman of the Chattanooga Tourism Board.
Okay.
And so I get to hear a lot about how we market Chattanooga outside of Chattanooga. So I've got some 2023 data. We don't have 2024 yet. We're not finished with it. But
sure.
Chattanooga, 76% of the visitors that come to Chattanooga are drive-in. So it's a drive-in market. And you probably already know that Georgia, Alabama, even West Tennessee is strong visitors coming into Chattanooga to visit.
Yes, absolutely.
And then
I would assume Atlanta's probably the number one. Atlanta and Nashville, I would think, are going to be the top.
It is,
DMAs
and I don't want to. No pun intended here on Atlanta, but when I was growing up here in Chattanooga, we used to go to Atlanta to get away.
Oh, sure.
And
I grew up here too.
And now Atlanta people are coming to Chattanooga to get away. So
I remember when that started shifting, and I'm like scratching my head, and I thought, no, I get it. And especially when my kids were younger, we would go to Atlanta, and I'd be looking to go do something fun, and I realized we should just go back to Chattanooga. It's a lot more fun back home.
You'd be surprised how many staycations here in Chattanooga actually happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just want to go downtown and stay for the weekend and go out to dinner, and it's a great place.
Yeah.
It's a great place. But we also, we market Greenville, Louisville, Raleigh. We've got airlines going in and out of Dallas, Denver, Miami. So we're also marketing those areas for flying. International, we're in Canada for people coming in, UK. One of the things that we looked at this year is the assets that we have in Chattanooga. What brings people to Chattanooga? So we released some findings. I don't know if you remember this last year, but about the convention center and the futures of the convention center and what recommendations that we needed to continue to bring people to Chattanooga. And one of the recommendations was basically adding a 35,000 square foot ballroom so we could bring larger groups.
So you're saying a much larger space than what's currently available.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the findings, they also saw that if we were to put a new 400-room property attached, we've got the Marriott, and it's about 300-something rooms, so it's there. But there's a lot of conventions in town that the Marriott, and then there's the Chattanooga behind there, they just can't house everything going on, so it's quite a walk to the next property.
I see. It is, yes. I'm just thinking that through, yeah.
And a lot of the people that book everything together, they would love to be in one hotel.
I get that.
So
yeah.
that's a big thing. And so that's something that we're trying to look at and work on. And they also want an outdoor space. So I don't know if you've been to different conventions in other towns, but we're seeing that we're having a lot more outdoor meetings, after hours, stuff like that. And
interesting, almost like the West End, except bigger.
Exactly.
I guess they need more space.
But they want it all right there.
Yeah, right there in one place. Yeah.
Another thing that a few months ago that we released was the music venue needs for Chattanooga. And they were pretty specific that we needed a 6,000-seat outdoor amphitheater.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So we can get really some good talent in here, and that would be awesome for the residents too.
Yeah, it would be. Everybody would love that.
Oh, yeah. What we're working on right now is we're focused on sports facilities, and we're looking at Camp Jordan. And how do we continue to be able to compete with a lot of the other towns? And there's a lot of people that come right through Chattanooga going to another sports complex because they've got updated turf fields. They've got all kinds of better amenities. And so we're looking at Camp Jordan and some other areas in Chattanooga to upgrade those facilities so we can compete. Those facilities are available to any of the residents.
Yeah, that's true.
They're busy on weekends and stuff, but there's a lot of local sports that go on in those facilities as well.
So they benefit from better facilities.
Lodging taxes basically go right back into those parks. So everybody that stays here in Chattanooga, we utilize that money to go right back into those Camp Jordan parks. So if your kids are playing in there, thank us at the lodging arena
because you're helping maintain.
We're helping maintain those.
That's really good.
So a lot of those taxes are specific for different avenues like that.
What about the benefit to property owners here in Chattanooga, homeowners specifically? We're talking about if I own a house in East Brainerd or in Hickson, Ottawa, why does this stuff matter to me? The tourism and hospitality industry, and specifically, why would I want more conferences and conventions to come to town?
Let me tell you exactly kind of how this works real quick. So Hamilton County is the number 5 county ranked in the state of Tennessee for tourism spending.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea, number 1 is Davidson County, which is Nashville. Number 2 is Shelby, which is Memphis. And then number 3 is Sevier County, which is Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. And then number 4 is Knox County, especially when you got a good football team up there right now.
That's right.
And we're number 5, which is Hamilton County. When we have somebody spend the night here in our Hamilton County, we charge 4% county, 4% city tax, and we call them lodging taxes.
Okay.
And so all those lodging taxes go back in to create tourism, and they go in to help anything that helps tourism. So Camp Jordan, all these different things that
all the things you were talking about,
that we're providing, we help with those tourism dollars help. In 2023, just I'm going to give you some statistics here. We had 10,740,000 visitors in Chattanooga. Okay,
10,740,000.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's amazing. That's a lot of people. I mean, my goodness.
Those 10 million visitors spent $1.7 billion in Hamilton County.
Yeah,
So
huge amount of money.
That's a 6% increase over the year prior. And I think we're tracking with 2024, it's going to be even higher, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at that, where did they spend that money? Well, there's lodging, food and beverage is huge.
Yeah.
Transportation, amusement parks, attractions, and then they spent quite a bit in retail as well.
Right. Yeah,
So,
they're helping us with our jobs, no doubt about that.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
employing a ton of people.
And that's a lot of money, and
yeah.
that's real money.
Yeah, it is.
That is real money. And so when the visitors come in and they spend that type of money, you're right, it creates jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It creates different avenues that we may not have without it, right? Because they're helping us put it there. But this is the big thing. I mean, it was $179 million in state and local taxes that visitors in Hamilton County brought to our area.
Okay.
Those taxes resulted in $1,205 savings in every household in Hamilton County.
Let me get that clear now. Would you just repeat that one more time? Taxes that came from outside
Overnight accommodations, tourism dollars that were spent, because we do break that out. It's not local, but outside money coming in.
Outside money coming in, kind of imported money.
That's right.
Okay.
Saved every single household in Hamilton County $1,205 in taxes.
Wow.
So that's huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's fantastic.
I mean, you look at our area, we've got low taxes.
Right.
Well,
yes, we do.
We're a tourism town.
That helps us, yeah.
The tourism helps keep those taxes low. I love tourism. I love what it can create. It can create
I can see
economic
that.
impact.
Yeah.
I mean, it creates jobs. And so here's one thing I wanted
It
to
also
say.
creates things that make us want to stay. Like
Absolutely.
you said, that staycation thing. I mean, you mentioned the restaurants, people coming into town, eating at our restaurants. Well, we wouldn't have a lot of these really cool restaurants that we have if we didn't have outsiders coming to help pay the bills, right?
Right. I'll be honest with you. So sports travel is huge.
Okay.
If sports travel went away, we would probably be hurting.
And this is talking about like travel teams?
Ball teams.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, softball, basketball, volleyball, whatever.
Sports travel. Okay.
It's so huge for any market, but especially Hamilton County. And you can see them on the weekends. They'll be in their uniforms, they're eating in our restaurants, they're buying gas, they're going, staying in our hotels. So they're enjoying our city.
Yeah, I'll see them out at a restaurant, and it's a whole team, and they're obviously not from around here.
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention, that something that we did this past year, and we partnered with UTC. We launched our first ever survey to gain a deeper understanding of how tourism impacts residents and also local businesses. And so we're pretty serious about understanding how what events that we bring into town, how we're impacting the residents and local businesses.
Let's shift to the Chattanooga Tourism Summit that just happened maybe a month or two ago. I guess it was a month ago or so. It was such a great theme for the Tourism Summit. It was called "It Starts with a Visit." Tell me about that theme and what it means to Chattanooga.
It starts with a visit. A single visit has the power to change lives and shape the future of our of our community. But what is it? And so it's the catalyst that fuels business growth, evaluates our quality of life. It attracts new residents, supports jobs, infuses our city, just basically kind of what we were talking through there.
Yeah.
This is what tourism does. It all begins with that first visit. So interestingly enough, I have several I can mention. Ernest Chinese downtown, and they also own the Crash Pad. Ernest Chinese used to be the Flying Squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Those are friends of mine. They visited Chattanooga, loved it so much that they moved here and opened a restaurant and a hostel. Wooden City, that just opened downtown by the aquarium down there.
Mm-hmm.
They're from out west. They came here just on a trip and fell in love with the city.
Yeah.
And opened a restaurant. And so Wooden City is now thriving down in the market. I have a friend that his son got transferred here for a job, and came down to visit him after he got moved in and everything, and he fell in love with the city. And so they were living in Nashville, so they moved to Chattanooga. And so they're now living here in Chattanooga. And so it all starts with that visit. And something that we talked about at the summit, and I'm just going to read, the Irving, Texas Convention Center basically has said this, and I love what they've said. But build a place people want to visit, and you'll build a place where people want to live. Build a place where people want to live, and you'll build a place where people want to work. Build a place where people want to work, and you'll build a place where business has to be. Build a place where business has to be, and you'll build a place where people have to visit. So it all starts with a visit.
That's cool.
It really is cool.
That's
but
cool, yeah.
the outdoor tourism here, all the biking and trailing, and I don't do a lot of the outdoor sports,
Right.
but it's huge.
It
It's
is huge, yes.
And a lot of people move here just because of what we can offer to them as a part of their lifestyle.
Yeah, I see that all the time when I'm talking to someone who's moving here from out of town and we're looking at houses. I ask them, why did you come? And they do fall in love with the city, just as you said. And maybe it could have been as simple as them saying, I was interested in Tennessee. It was one of the 2 or 3 states we were looking at moving to from California. That seems to be a very common theme, moving to this area. And they're looking at 2 or 3 states, and so they visited a few cities, or maybe they didn't even visit, but they looked into it more. And then they said, Chattanooga looked like the place, and we came and checked it out and said, yep, we're moving here. It's really an amazing thing. And I think about I want to call them the forefathers, the planners back in the 20th century, the early 20th century and mid 20th century, and all the way through those 1900s when, Coca-Cola and manufacturing were a big deal here in Chattanooga. And some of those families and some of those people had a vision, and then ultimately the entire community was involved in that. And that's where we came up with, I forget what it was actually called, the vision for the aquarium. It was like Vision 2020, or
I can't, but it was all about the
2000
riverfront.
Yeah, it was all
about the riverfront down there. Yeah.
All about the riverfront. And those of us who have lived here a while, who can remember, it was a 55 miles an hour driving through there. It was.
And let me also remind you that all that riverfront development was basically paid for by lodging taxes.
There you go. Yeah, and we all enjoy that, and we love it, and it's a benefit to us as residents. We enjoy the things that have come, and anyone who's lived here can easily look at the development that occurred on the riverfront and that continues throughout Chattanooga, especially emanating from there, and say, this is a better place to live. We have better opportunities for people, our young people who are growing up. When I was in school here in Chattanooga, maybe when you were as well, it was very common to just feel like, well, I need to get out of here and go to Nashville or go to Atlanta or wherever. This is probably not where I'm going to live. And that changed. That really all changed thanks to the development downtown. I really think that was the major catalyst.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, it was. I grew up in Hickson. So you had, Northgate Mall and all that area. And then Hamilton Place came and created that whole atmosphere. But in the mid-'80s, Riverbend Festival started downtown Chattanooga. So it was the first time that everybody started kind of really hanging out. And the aquarium was built. And so that whole area downtown, and, the people living downtown that never leave downtown now, because you can do all your grocery shopping, you can do everything you need to. You don't even need to get in your car anymore.
Yeah,
you just live downtown. But the development, of the current Lookout Stadium and more the new Lookout Stadium and then the Bend. I mean, you've got so much new development that in the next several years, it's going to change the landscape again.
Yes,
and
it is.
It's going to be fantastic for everybody living in Chattanooga to be able to enjoy all of those different things that are coming to the city.
Of course, as you just mentioned, you can live downtown. There's plenty of opportunities and places to live, especially condos and townhomes, many of them available. One thing I also have found is that folks who might enjoy or need to live in the suburbs for whatever reason, or further out, even out, maybe they live in the country. But I have a number of friends that I know who have a condo or property that's very near the riverfront, and they'll come in for the weekends. That's what they do. They go to their job wherever it is,
Yep.
in Cleveland or some other area, and then they come rolling into downtown Chattanooga and spend the weekend.
That's right.
Every weekend.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Just thinking about, there are a lot of Airbnb opportunities out there, and I say for lodging, there's a lot of Airbnbs. And many people that I speak with as a realtor are also interested in buying a property for use as an Airbnb rental. I speak with them a lot about the regulatory environment that Hamilton County and the city of Chattanooga have over Airbnb rentals, short-term rentals. That's the more appropriate word for it, I presume, because you can rent through other means than just Airbnb. How are the short-term rentals impacting the hospitality industry?
We used to not understand what this Airbnb concept was all about, but
Well, you were in the hotel business.
we were in the
right?
hotel business, but we welcome them. When all the Airbnb regulations and everything started, probably most people that's going to stay in your Airbnb are coming to Chattanooga for some event that we've promoted or marketing or something. They're coming here to visit.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those marketing dollars that we need to get people here, even in the Airbnbs, are coming from lodging taxes. And I remember several years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that I had the opportunity with the city to talk to some of the Airbnb owners. And we were talking about the regulations. They were more than welcome to and open to collect taxes and help us promote, because it needs to be a level playing field.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And they just didn't know how. And so we started, I think there were some workshops. And then if you look at the big guys like Airbnb.com, they actually collect and remit for those homeowners now.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember early in those days, I thought this has got to change.
Right.
And Airbnb did adapt. As you said, the large players, I'm sure, adapted and made arrangements to actually collect those funds.
Right. Because, if we stay in Airbnbs as well in other towns. And it's a great way to travel as well. But no, we welcome them as long as they go through the proper channels to get their license and collect and remit lodging taxes. They're truly an additional asset to our community. It's it helps us be more successful, because there's quite a few travelers out there that I've talked to personally, and they find out what I do, and they say, well, we just don't stay in hotels. We like the Airbnbs. And hey, I understand. I get it. So we enjoy having those in our city, and we need them in our city because they're become so popular.
Yeah.
And they are remitting lodging taxes. So they're helping us market Chattanooga. Every bit of that lodging tax that we collect has to go back into tourism somehow.
Okay.
So it can't go be buying a fire truck or anything like that. It has to go back into tourism. So it's helping them and our city thrive as well.
The whole short-term rental business, Airbnb, it does add some texture to any community to have those opportunities to stay in a different type of environment if you choose to.
Right.
I enjoy hotels. I also enjoy Airbnbs. I'm with you. So one last thing I just wanted to cover, just thinking about this. We're talking about tourism, and people do get frustrated sometimes with the crowds. What would you say to somebody that's a resident here that's frustrated by crowds and tourists coming into our community?
I would hope that the percentage of people that are frustrated with tourism in Chattanooga are low.
It probably is. Yeah. I'm just thinking about maybe a random person here.
I can think of a lot of other cities that tourism has not allowed them to enjoy their own downtown.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Chattanooga Tourism is involved, when they look at all these big events, they want residential input. They want the residents to enjoy it just as much as out-of-towners. Listen, we need tourism in Chattanooga. It helps fuels our economic development. It creates a better place to live and work and play. So when you see those visitors, just remember that they're helping our economy and they're keeping our taxes down. We take tourism serious here in Chattanooga, and I don't think that there's enough events. Ironman. Ironman We celebrated this year 10 years putting on that event.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what people may not know about Ironman is a lot of people think, why do you market and do all this for one big event over a weekend? But the truth of the matter is, being in the business, these people are coming in and out all year long. They're training.
Oh, that's right.
Town.
Of course. They need our course to go on, don't
That's
they?
right.
Yeah.
They're bringing dollars into this market that we desperately need. So we have a lot of different events like that, it's a big weekend and we may block off the roads and create a little chaos. But the benefit of what those sales tax dollars that those visitors are bringing is huge for this town. And again, the riverfront and all the different trails and stuff that's been created, the more marketing that we get out there and able to market, the better we're going to make it. And the residents get to just enjoy that.
Yeah, I love it. We get to enjoy it too. Well, Darik, it's been great having you on the show. Thank you for being here today. How would someone learn more about any of these things that we've talked about? You mentioned some restaurants that are coming in new and places that are coming in new. How would they learn about that kind of stuff?
I would push everybody to a website called visitchattanooga.com. And visitchattanooga.com is the Chattanooga Tourism Co. And they keep a pretty good updated calendar of events coming in and places to visit and restaurants and hotels and what to do while you're in town. So anything tourism related, visitchattanooga.com.
I love it. And you know what's great about visitchattanooga.com? Even though it says visit, even if you live here, if you just go to that website, you might find some really cool stuff you didn't even realize was here.
Absolutely.
And be able to go enjoy it, just like you said. Enjoy it as a resident. Darik, thanks again for being here on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I'm Blake Watson, agent with Epic Realty. My mobile phone is 423-315-1815. And my brokerage office phone is 888-893-3537. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Blake Watson and on Instagram as Rock and Roll Blake. My website is athomechattanooga.com. And if this podcast has been helpful, well, please share this podcast with a friend and follow this podcast. And until next time, I wish you all the best in your real estate journey.